Ignore me. I'm just going to do an introduction because I need to start doing these more. The guests have been complaining that I don't introduce myself properly. So this is for the guests that don't know me. I'm Abs of October Red Boxing. You might be watching this on YouTube, or you might actually be listening to it on Apple Podcasts. But today, and as all time with our guests, they're all special. But today I'm joined by former Olympian, now turned pro boxer, who's tucking into his dessert after a good training session, heavyweight, Sky Sports boxer fighter, Frazer Clarke. Welcome, Frazer, back to October Red Boxing. How are you?
I'm good. Always a pleasure to be with you, you know, and to eat some nice fruit after, let's say, a good little session. Even got a little bit of technical sparring back in there. That's quite quick after the cut, but, you know, we protected it, wrapped it up in that big old head guard on, so good to be back in the mix, you know.
I was about to say, because the cut, obviously it had stitches, but to me it looks completely healed. Obviously you're going to have a bit of scar tissue or whatnot, but just to clarify, you know, that cut on your head, it wasn't from an actual punch, was it? We're going to get straight into this. There's a lot of things that we need to cover. There's a lot of things I didn't speak to you about post-fight, and I think there's some things that we need to address. So talk to me about, you know, the cut above your eye.
Yeah, it's like centre of my forehead. Obviously being a lot taller than a lot of guys, even though that Bogdan Dinu was quite big, he sort of ducked down and came up and just caught me with his head. Just cracked, innit? Like egghead, just cracked. But it's not a problem, you know. I've been there many times, dealt with loads of cuts. I don't let it faze me. Just carry on. I had a Jumbo in the corner. You know, he's great at what he does. So he sorted it out and made a real good job of it. The doctors after stitched it all well. I went away last week, got a little bit of sun on it, a little bit of seawater, and
bit of vitamin D.
Vitamin D, you know, and we're healing up well.
Well, we're back here now. I know that you wanted to be on the May the 6th card in Birmingham. It's sort of like close to home. You know, I'm a Brummie. There's quite a few Brummie fighters on the card. And obviously we've got your other Olympian. We've got, why does his name always skip my head? Ben Whittaker, light heavyweight. I always do this. So it's a card that's full of like locals. You're going to have to sit that one out.
Yeah, I know, I'm gutted. I'm gutted because it was the first time. Obviously, Manchester's not too far. I've been there a lot of times, but it's not like Birmingham is literally, you're talking one road, do you know what I mean? Like 30 minutes down the road from me, you're there. So it's almost like, like if you're going to go anywhere, we go shopping, we go for food, we go to Brum. So it was like near enough, as close to home as you can really get. And I had a shed load of people wanting to come, you know. I'd like, this was the first one, like we did up the.
You did a coach?
Yeah, coaches, 3 or 4. I think there was going to be like, I think we booked initially four 50-seaters, so that's 200 people already. And that was, they were all full. I was just like waiting for ticket confirmation, and tickets were going to fly out, but it wasn't to be, you know. The cut happened. In hindsight, might not be the worst thing because I've done a lot of back-to-back camps, you know what I mean? And like my body, like any athlete will know, I think I was eager to do it. My body was sort of telling me, you know, have a little bit of a break, have a few weeks off. So I had a couple of 10 days off probably. Even now I'm still doing a little bit, you know, every mirror you walk past, you shadowboxing, you know what I mean? You know how it goes. But yeah, so I feel replenished. I come back in the gym. I think Monday. I came back last week. I did a day. Came back in here Monday. Been here every day since. Not going crazy. Doing a bit of technical stuff, a bit of learning. Now's the time, you know. Until we get the solid date. Now's the time to do your learning, the work with your coach. Really homing on that before it ramps up and it gets really hard.
We talk about waiting for a date. The last time I saw you was at the AJ fight, AJ versus Franklin. We can cover that first because obviously you're signed to 258. Anthony Joshua is a friend of yours as well, has helped guide your career. Your feedback on that fight, and then I'm going to touch on some stuff about Fabio Wardley. Obviously, the heavyweight division is starting to heat up again, and that is good stuff, but I want you to break down the AJ fight.
Yeah, you know what? I think I sort of fell into the trap of he's going to come out and he's gonna go mad, he's going to take this guy out quick. I think we all got fell into this trap if that's going to happen, and it didn't happen. So I think everyone was disappointed. But when you actually watch it back in hindsight, you look at all the different aspects. New coach,
Yep.
First fight after 2 defeats. I think there's a lot of things being practiced in there. You know, like there's a lot of little subtle things that people won't see. I liked his ring positioning. I liked his dominance without punching. I thought it was very good. Obviously, I think he stated himself he could have let his hands go a little bit more, which would have been nice, but it never happened. So it's a win. Like I say, I think he still sees there's room for improvement, like we all do every time we come out of a fight. And I was just glad to see him back in there. 12 solid rounds with a solid opponent. I think as time goes on, you know, when in heat of battle, everyone seems to, he didn't knock him out. That was not great. In the heat of battle, a bit like myself with that Sokolovsky, I was gutted that it went the distance.
Yeah, I saw your face.
But then afterwards, when now I look back, it was the best thing for me. I realised I need to get my finger out my arse and get some proper work done because that campo off messed about a little bit. There's a few problems here and there. Same with AJ, you know. I think he definitely took this camp seriously. But you realise, you know what, you can always do more.
That's the one thing I will say about you, Frazer, is you're not afraid to give like an honest opinion where you'll say, you know what, I'm not happy about that because I thought, basically, not that you were crap, but you say, look, I need to pull my finger out my arse. Sometimes when you speak to fighters, they'll still like big up their performance and not have that like kind of like balanced view. What is it about you where you're able to say, you know what, I weren't really happy about that, and I'm the one that really needs to get stuck in to make sure this doesn't happen again, even though you've had wins?
I don't put it down to anything else other than myself. I mean, my body's different now compared to that fight. I look at myself now, and I look back at the picture of that fight. I felt horrible. Felt like I had an extra layer on. I was just, you know, not in a good place. I wasn't doing the work right here, lying to myself. But what I did know was, which I won't get away with going forward, is the worst version of me was going to beat Kamil Sokolovsky. Do you know what I mean? Like that's just the way it is. Like I wasn't great, but the worst version of me was going to outbox him. Do you know what I mean? So a lesson learned in, you know, I don't want to feel like that again. So that's why I have to take it a lot more serious now and do the right things. But you know that does happen, and I'm glad. Even though I won, I'm glad that I've had that experience already as a pro, to know that, you know, it isn't what it says on the tin. It's not as easy as you think. You know, there's some tough fighters there, some good fighters.
And that's one thing that you've always been honest with as well, about you turning from amateur to pro. Of, you know, somebody that has been an amateur as long as you have. You know, you've done a good long stretch as an amateur, then turning off to pro. It's basically you've kind of like said it's 2 different sports.
But it is like. It counts for something, but it doesn't count for everything. You know, it counted for what it was at the time. It was the amateurs. I was very proud of what I've done in it. But at the same time, the geezer we're going to talk about in a minute, you already mentioned him, Fabio. He had no amateur experience, and he's doing fantastic. So, you know, it's not the be all and end all. But for me at the time, it was, and I think it's put me in a good stead and in a good place.
Well, we can go to that. Because, like I said, you're out for May the 6th. You're kind of like on a standby. It gives you a chance to be at home, be on the internet, check Twitter. And I've got to admit, love it or hate it, it's bringing the heavyweight division back to life. We had David Adelaide, #1, turn up at Fabio's show, one for a better word, going up to him, approaching him, saying, come on then, what are you saying, let's have it. Then you and obviously Fabio have been going backwards and forwards online. Fabio has said, I'd like Frazer. I really would, because of his pedigree, because of this, because of that. And Eddie's like, yeah, maybe, but we don't think we're going to go that route.
Eddie knows fucking better. Eddie's not stupid. And I understand their decision. They probably want to keep it in-house with the English champion, who is Solomon. So that's just unfortunate. That's the way the world works and the way the business is, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? That's like, I can keep talking about Fabio all we want. I don't think the fight will happen because it'll probably box Solomon. Solomon will probably beat him. And also, his bosses, one of them says that he wants him to fight me. Oh, he must be off. He's talking out of his box, and his boss's boss. He knows better.
Fabio's put up a picture on Twitter I've got. Sorry, I retweeted it because it was funny.
I laughed. I was with a few people. People were screwing a bit, and I was just like laughing because what you gotta give Fabio credit for, yeah, he's actually funny, man. He's witty. He's witty. I'll give him that. You know, like it got a bit dead. You know, it got a bit flat for a few days. Because this is what happens after a fight. After one of us fights, it always like has a couple of like 8-9 days where it's hot. Then everyone just thinks, you know what, let's get back in the gym. Let's concentrate on ourselves. Calms down again. Then we'll do an interview and they go hot again for a little bit. But Fabio just kept it alive. And you know what? I laughed. To be fair, obviously, I seen it and I sat there. And Fabio, you know what he's good at? He's good at getting me to bite, you know. Every time he gets me, you know, I think, you cheeky bastard. But he gets me to bite every time. But this time I thought, you know what, just be calculated about it. Have a minute. And yeah, I give him the little comeback. But, you know, that is what it is. But yeah, keep doing your thing, Fabio, because if you do fight me, you've always got, you know, a comeback. You can be a stand-up comedian or something like that.
We like it. But the thing is, this is what I'm saying about fighters. They're usually very, you know, they're almost like studious. They'll stand tall. They don't really want to get involved in any to-in and fro-in. It's kind of like, yeah, I'll leave it in the ring. I'll do my talking in the ring, etc., etc. Everything is in the ring. But with this, Fabio's kind of like saying, well, no, actually, I'm going to have a bit of fun with this. And I'm going to say to these guys, I'm the top of the tree. And you guys, you want what I've got. So he's kind of like, one for a better word, mocking it or saying, I know my position. You said he's a cool guy. There's no animosity there. But really, when you see that, what are you thinking?
Well, at the minute, you know, I could only go off the facts. He's had more fights than me.
Yep.
He's got more titles than me in the professional game at the minute. So, yeah, he is top of the tree. But when you know, I seen Adelaide talking about A side, B side, all that bullshit. It's like, turn up a press conference, all that bollocks, like... He must have watched Creed 3 the night before and just got excited and just thought, you know what, we'll go. It's not the real. That's just stupidness. I think trying to make some noise. You don't have to. Everyone's got different ways of doing things. You know what I mean? But I ain't gonna do that. Especially, I have a little respect as well in terms of it was Fabio's fight week. Yeah, I'm not really trying to fuck with him on a fight week like that. You know, just because I won't like it myself.
Okay.
No, man's trying to concentrate on a fight and you turn up his press conference. It's not really my way, but that's him and David's thing, so that's that. But when he did put that, I just thought if he's actually serious about, you know, wanting to fight all three of us and like defend his title, I can only commend him really. But if he fights me first, I'm beating him. I'm 100% beating him. And it might be a good fight, but there was one winner, and that's me. 1,000,000%, I can put anything on it. I mean, I heard that Waffle from Dillian saying that
he wants him to bash you in.
He wants him to bash me in. Dillian couldn't bash me in, so Fabio ain't gonna bash me in. That's the reality of it. Boxing lesson to both of them. That's the way it would go. I know he's like. Big angry face with leather jacket, square shoulders, walking around at the shows looking angry, and that's one world. But you know, in that terms of being outside the ring and that, yeah, you probably do a lot to me. But as soon as that crossed over to inside them ropes, it'd be fucked. Same as Fabio.
Have you ever had any like history with Dillian? Because I know obviously Dillian is Fabio's like manager. Obviously he's going to back his fighter. But have you ever had any history? Like, have you sparred him? I know you've met him like before because we were at an event where we both saw him and there was no animosity there. So have you got a little bit of a history? Why are you confident that you'd beat Dillian as well?
I just know my ability. I know his ability. Like he's professional boxing and amateur boxing are two different things, you're right. He's very, very tough, solid, strong, and has a good left hook. But obviously I believe in myself, I back myself, I'd beat him if it comes to it. And one day, hopefully, you know, if he boxes AJ and AJ beats him again, which he will, and then if he's looking for somewhere to go, I'm sure by that time I'll be on the horizon, and yeah, I'd like to get it cracking one day, definitely.
But when you talk about this horizon, and we've got like different career lengths of boxing.
yeah.
Where you are compared to where Fabio is, there's still a bit of a difference. However, your name is still in the mix, obviously, because of the amateur background that you've got. Do you feel any added pressure from that? Because what is he, about 10 fights ahead of you in the pro game?
I don't, you know what, one thing I will not do is discredit Fabio. He has done, like, he's done fantastic. You know, like, if you said to me, would you like to be in Fabio's position after 16 fights? Absolutely. Like, what's he got, like 15 knockouts? He's done sick, he smashed it. But he talked about, what have these guys actually done to warrant fighting me?
Yes, there is that.
He says that, like, I think if you look on paper, that last guy I fought, his numbers are, I think, are better than anyone that Fabio's boxed numbers. You know, his fights, in terms of his wins.
Okay.
I think he had 23. I think he had 26, 123, and stopped like 19 or something like that. So on paper, but we don't go off paper. We know he was what he was. But yeah, in terms of what have they actually done to warrant boxing him? Well, I'm undefeated. There's really no one else for you to box apart from me, Adelaide or Solomon. And he said, "Oh, they've only had 6 fights." The difference is, I'm ready to box for a British title after 6 fights.
Okay.
He was ready to box for a British title after 15 fights. Okay. That's just the way it is. And he did it, and he took his chance. He took it while he beat a good boxer in Nathan Gorman. If the fight was 3 rounds, it'd been good. Like, you know, he'd be a good fighter. But he did what he did. Did a good job on him. Solid job. I was there. And then he did a solid job the other night, to be fair. Obviously, the referee was a little bit hasty, but
he was going that way anyway.
I think he'd realised, you know, the next round he would have done that, you know, from early on. Probably would have got him out of there anyway.
When you look at the skill bases then, and you compare yours, and the only reason why I'm talking about Fabio is because, like you said, even though you've had 6 fights, you are ready to be able to take that test on because of what you bring with you and what you believe that are your capabilities. When you look at Fabio, and like I said, I don't want you to get into like game plans and stuff, but what makes you confident? You can say you can beat anyone on self-belief, I get that, but what do you see as something that you can manipulate of Fabio's while you're extremely confident that you can win?
I can any way. Like, I could box him. If we could do that thing where we get into a fight where he gets hit and goes into this beast mode or whatever it is, or he remembers he's from the Dillian Whyte school of boxing, of hard knocks, of being flown out to Portugal for cheap sparring, then end up signing a contract as a manager, probably taking loads of his fucking money. So that school that he's from, we could do that, no problem. You know, I could stand there with him, I could box him. There's so many different ways, but I think what would happen is, like you say, he comes alive when he gets caught. He'd be getting caught early on. He'd come alive, and then when he opens up like he does, I think he'd leave a lot of gaps for me, and I think I'd stop him. But do you know what? Saying that, he's an athlete as well. He's a fit guy. He's a fit guy, so I'd have to prepare to go, you know, into the later rounds, because, you know what, I believe he is tough, and I believe he is a real guy. He's not a joker. Do you know what I mean? He's a serious guy. And he fights with a lot of pride as well, so that keeps people on their feet, you know.
And the thing is, you both bring a good crowd as well, so wherever it would be, there'd be probably a 50-50 on the crowd turning up and supporting you. What makes you, and I'm not trying to make this out like it's an audition, because it feels a little... Sorry, go on.
So if he was going to fight now and him being a champion, I think they're waiting for a homecoming for him.
Okay.
Ipswich. So I'd turn up in my Norwich shirt. I'd turn up in my Norwich shirt, and I'd do him in a Norwich shirt. I'd do him in the Norwich colours. I'd have the yellow and green shorts, and do it like that in the football stadium at Ipswich.
So you go into his hometown and cause chaos and disrupt it.
People could talk about the amateurs again. Once again, remember, I've had all these experiences. I've boxed Ukraine. I've boxed a Ukrainian in a Ukraine final in Ukraine. Walked to the ring with monkey noises being made at me, bananas thrown at me. I've boxed Russians in Russia, Kazakhs in Kazakhstan, Uzbeks in Uzbek, Cubans in Cuba. Like, I've done all that. Do you know what I mean? So I don't fear to go to anyone's backyard. That's not a problem. I've done that. I've done that for 10 years, literally. And I'm not scared. What I'm going to do, I'm going to have bare security around me walking to the ring. And once I get in the ring, there's only 2 of us. So that makes no difference. I'm getting out alive as well. You know what I mean? 100%. Once I get out of the ring, I'll go back to the change rooms. Yeah, there'll be a bit of animosity. I'll have better security around me. I can look after myself as well. It's not a problem.
But you wear security, won't you? So
I can look after myself.
when you look at it then, and like I said, it seems not like an audition, but kind of like, yeah, well, it is kind of like an audition. Why should you fight me? It's almost like a job interview, because it's like Fabio wants you. You said, yeah, why not? But then Eddie's kind of like, I probably want him to have the home fighter first. Yeah, your thoughts on that?
No, that just obviously that makes sense, you know, from their side.
Like inside money, you mean? Like,
yeah, remember,
fight to make.
I don't talk too much of the business side because I'm not as qualified as these guys, you know. Eddie's been at a long game. He'll know the better thing for the company, the better thing for him, the better thing for his fighters. But all I know is from my side, I'll speak to my management, speak to my promoter. If there's a way to be I don't know if the board are going to make one of us mandatory.
I need to check it because there's a circular that comes out.
Yeah, so they can make one of us mandatory. Probably would be Solomon as well, being as he's the English champion at the minute, you know. So that would probably happen. I think Adelaide's has he got one of them like daft bolts as well? It was like, I don't know, WBA sort of, I don't know what. Has he got one of them? I'm not sure neither. But obviously, I've got nothing other than the six fights. You know what I mean? So if it was one of them two first, I wouldn't sit here and cry about it. I'd get on with my own thing. And then if they won the title, my attention would turn to them. It wouldn't. It's not just solely like Fabio. It's the belt. Yeah, whoever's it with. And like I say, it's not even like I don't have animosity really towards anyone in boxing. Because no one really fuck with me or talk shit about me, to be honest. Like, I seem to get on with most people, but if they do, then it switches up. Do you know what I mean?
But I think you're that type of guy. You're very corporate, aren't you? We see you on Sky Sports. We see you doing the commentary. You know, you're a stand-up guy. You're respectful. You're polite. You're for the community. You have that aura about you. But many people don't realise that you can be quite spiteful when you're ready. There's a side to you that many people don't see, and that, like they said, they'll see that smiley face and think, oh yeah, I can take the piss with him, he's an idiot, blah blah blah. But there's a side of you that people don't really see.
Yeah, people can have a laughing, but no one can take the piss with me or out of me. Like, I don't have it. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not standing here claiming to be the baddest motherfucker in the world or Mike Tyson. Like, but I back myself. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I ain't gonna be made to look like a dickhead for no one. That's just what I think. That's most people. But other than that, yeah, I was brought up the right way. Do you know what I mean? I got good parents. I got good people around me. I don't have to be a menace. I don't have to walk around looking angry, intimidating people, anything like that. Do you know what I mean? I'm just, what you see is what you get.
And we talk about that, but what I will say, I've been watching you for obviously a little bit. I'm obviously honoured to be able to come in your gym. The improvements that I'm seeing, even down to today, I can't obviously post the footage, but what I can say is that your technical ability is really improving under the tutelage of Angel Fernandez. We're seeing aggressive counters. Like I said, I'm not going to go into too much, but we're seeing an improvement. Like 3 fights ago, that was a completely different Frazer. Talk to me about how that relationship is building with Angel.
Yeah, I think, pro boxing, I think anyone will understand this. It is relationships. It is time. It is hours and hours and hours of drilling and working together, having a sort of understanding of where you're both trying to go. You're trying to get to the same goal stylistically, technically, and viciously as well. To have that intent. I'll go back to Fabio again. Like, the one thing I admire from him is his vicious nature and his intent. He seems to have a great predatory instinct about him. So yeah, we're trying to get a bit of. I don't mind saying I'm trying to take a little bit from him, a little bit from him. If I could have anything out of Fabio's arsenal, it'd probably be that. He's got a good finishing instinct.
We love it. I know you said you can't tell us when you going to be fighting again, and like you said, you're going through the healing process, but you are back in the gym. Is there any kind of like date that we can look at?
I think, if you're going to be realistic now, I just go off what I know that's happening. I know that we've got, I think, the Bilham Smith card end of May.
27th,
that's been announced. I think my favourite fighter to date who I'm the biggest fan of, Adam Azim. I know he's fighting.
Call, is he?
Your Call or somewhere. It might be Your Call. June 10th, I think. So, there's a possibility of that. But saying that, I don't know. The numbers I've got people wanting to come. I don't think they're fitting Your Call.
Yeah.
So there's a few different possibilities. If there was the opportunity to do, a show in Burton on Trent, I want to start speaking about that. A home show where I could possibly top the bill. Might need a couple more fights yet to get in a position to fight someone to do that. But I'd love that. But I'm open to anything. I go around the country, not a problem. Like I said, I've been around the world before fighting. It's nice to box in the UK. It's nice to go to different cities. I don't even realise, I've got a lot of love in a lot of different cities, So it is what it is. I had someone messaging me today. Someone from Ipswich, actually.
Really?
Yeah, saying
Spill the juice.
saying that there's a lot of debate in their household over me and Fabio at the minute, but she was Team Frazer, Big Frazer. So I think her kids have fell out with her. So it is what it is. Yeah, I'm getting a lot of support, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, you did have a lot of support in Manchester as well when you last fought. That was electric there.
That was the best, the best sort of welcoming I've had yet. As a pro, it's mad. And like I said, Manchester becoming a second home. I love Manchester, love the people, love the place, so I love it there.
Before we go then, Frazer, I know that you've got your own merch, you're wearing a cap. Thanks for giving me mine. No, I'm only joking, I ain't got one. But where can we buy your merch and get those fans to support you?
You know what, you can have one. You can have one. You have to go on my Instagram, the link's in the bio, in my little shop. Yeah, you know what, I had one myself, had a couple made. My friend from Sheffield, Kate, she made a couple and given them to me. Then I thought, oh my God, this is good. So I got onto management, we got some made, and they're flying out, to be fair. You know what, people are like, where can we get that? Where can I say, listen, go on my Instagram, in the bio, the link's there, go and grab the hats.
And finally, a message for all the British heavyweights. What is Frazer Clarke going to bring to the heavyweight division?
I'm just going to fucking fuck all them up, innit? Do you know what I mean? I just fight them all. Obviously, once again, I can't talk shit. I'm going to fuck them all up, blah, 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 blah. Listen, when we fight, we'll get to it. And that's it. I'll be up. I know that doesn't look like decisive or anything, but the reality is, it's one thing seeing me from outside the ropes and seeing me with a smile on my face and seeing me in the ropes and it doesn't, oh my God, look, he doesn't do that well. Come get in the ring and let's see what happens, innit?
We like it. October Red Boxing with the lovely Frazer Clarke. Absolute pleasure. Always. Glad to see you back in the gym.
Yeah, always.
Keep an eye out. I'm telling you, a lot of people are sleeping on this fighter. I see what goes on behind the scenes. You need to get behind him and support his journey. He's definitely one for the people.
Let's go.
Hi, and thank you for watching October Red Boxing. Like, subscribe, and tap the bell for notifications. You can also find us on Instagram at October Red Boxing and on Twitter, October Red UK. And remember, at October Red, we stay ready.